you, sir?
What's happening? What's going on? A lot of stuff
Oh,
going on for sure, right? With
yeah.
beds. Yeah.
I
Did
haven't
you?
looked. I've been gone from my desk for about an hour, so I haven't looked at what's going on in the market. It's up, what, half point? Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that this must have happened. I guess it was today. Bitcoin spiked over 35,000 again today.
What? What
Didn't
did it?
even realize it. Yeah.
What?
Must have been
Yeah, it candled up. It did.
one,
It
two,
candled up.
three, four, five, like 6 hours ago, give or
Yep.
take. I just was reading an article. I was like,
Yeah.
shoot,
Let
I didn't
me.
know we spiked back over 35 for a minute.
Yeah. I mean, it candled up right there, so you can see it.
Yeah.
There it is. So it candled up, just a candle, and then came back down. So yeah.
Yep.
So, well, Harris, since I'm here, you know me, I can't resist an opportunity. I got to show this. So, guys, by the way, welcome to the stream. We're going to be
Yep.
covering the Federal Reserve and all that kind of stuff today. It's going to be fun. Hopefully, they do what they say they're going to do, which is nothing, right? And then, but this is Zach's and mine's indicator that we had built. So you can see right there, it fired a buy signal. What was that, Zach? 16 days ago, right there. We're up 24%, but that's not even the really fun one. This is the
Yeah.
one that just is amazing. It's
How about
Solana.
Solana, man?
18 days ago, 16 hours, it fired a buy alert, and now it's up 105%. And Solana is just on fire. So if you're interested, links are in the description below. If you're on Zach's channel, go down there, get his link. If you're on my channel, go down there, get my link. There's a discount code down there. I can make this even cheaper, $37. We have a 30-day, no questions asked, money back guarantee. You get a basically 30-day free trial. You have zero risk. And look at this. So and by the way, Zach, it hasn't even fired a sell signal yet.
No.
It's just like momentum is still there and it's still crushing it 105%. If you would put $1,000 in, you would now have $2,050. Crazy.
Yeah, it's absolutely nuts. It flashed at 21 bucks and 38 cents. And there's been a lot actually in the last month and a half. Sol's been one of the big ones, but we've seen Chainlink. We've had a lot of our current
Bitcoin.
customers make a ton of money on Link, Solana, and a few other altcoins. And this thing works for crypto and stocks, guys. And I'll tell you this real quick ahead of this bull market. One thing I didn't have, and I don't think either one of us had in 2021, is a real tool like this to help us with our entry and exit points. Yep. 85% of traders use a tool like this. 85% Absolutely. Use something like this out there. So this is a tool you want in your toolbox ahead of the bull cycle. If you don't like XT or X1 for any reasons, go find another one. But
yeah,
we're coming in at a really cheap price point for you at 37. I know a lot of the competitors, quote unquote, out there, way more expensive. So
yeah, and I think you coined this phrase. Like, here's what it comes down to. And yes, we're selling this, guys, but to Zach's point, why not take us up on it? You have 30 days to try it for free, so you have zero risk in this. If you want a refund, we'll give you an instant refund. But with the discount code, that makes it $1 a day. That's less than what it costs you to go get a cup of coffee or a soda at your local convenience store. So why not invest in that? I mean, and you're seeing this is Solana, 100+%. By the way, not fired a sell signal. To Zach's point, Chainlink gave a buy alert 16 days ago, 47+% up. I mean, and it hasn't given you a sell signal yet. You can get alerts into your phone, all that stuff. So yeah, we're excited and we're aggressive about this, but it's real. The reason is because it works and it helps give you insight in when to buy and when to sell. Go ahead.
Go Gadget. I was just I think we were just chatting a little bit in the Discord. I've been getting a lot of good comments. He is using the software. He's using the software now. I think that's you, Go Gadget, right? Is that who I was just talking to somebody with either you or a name like that. But a couple people have messaged me, man, and just saying, hey, they're loving it so far. So that's what we want, man. I mean, we obviously wanted to create something where not only we can become better traders out of it, but hey, let's share it with everybody else out there and let's all get prepared together, because we all know when we get back into that bull cycle and altcoins are running hot, it is so hard to sell, right? Because it's just like, oh, it's going to keep going up forever, right? And just having that tool with you along the way, you don't trade on emotions as much, right? You have a plan. It's easier to craft a plan with every asset you get into.
So there we go. We're right there. Federal Reserve holds interest rates high. There we go. That's it.
So yeah, the decision is made. Now, J-Powell's going to be taking the stage at 2:30, guys. I think this is more important, Austin, than the actual decision, because this is like 98% 98% that it was going to happen like this, right? So this is exactly expectations. Nothing's really happening here with prices. Actually, Bitcoin trending up a little bit. I'm going to go into the 1 minute here just so we're like super, super zoomed in here. And
There you
so
go.
far, nothing
There you go.
crazy.
You got the stage. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, we're on the 1 minute here, guys. So we'll watch this. Decisions out, but I think it's more about what Jay Powell says in terms of where we're going, right?
Oh,
Is he
absolutely.
going to set the stage for December and maybe even into Q1? Because those are the questions I think a lot of the reporters are going to be asking now after the
Yeah.
second straight pause.
Yeah, and he's going to layer that into again. He's going to say the word data 8 million times, and he's going to basically say nothing. But he's going to say, well, the decision's not made until the December 13th next Federal Reserve meeting,
Yep.
right? So everything is going to push. And by the way, on a side note, guys, I'm going to have to come back and not do this screen. Little deal here. They're going to readjust these numbers anyway, meaning they come out with these numbers and this data, and then, right, Zach, they always come back quietly and they adjust them later.
Yep. I'm trying to refocus my
You refocusing your camera?
Yeah, I'm trying to. I don't know why it's blurry back there. But no, you're 100% right, man. There it goes. You're 100% right. I mean, you never really know what these numbers truly are, but the market does react to what's public, right? And it also reacts to what's said by Powell, the temperature in the room. I'm hoping he gives a little bit of something today, right? That's
He won't.
some kind of positive motion. Hopefully, like, hey,
Yeah.
our plan's kind of working here, and here's why. I mean, hopefully we get something like that. But I
Well,
mean,
you can see like the Dow's up 80, NASDAQ's up 80. Let's see if crypto has reacted. I haven't refreshed. So oh, you've got the screen. Sorry.
yeah,
Yeah. So just hit
you can take it back
CMC.
over.
Yeah, I just hit CMC, or I can do it.
I got you.
Yeah, hit CMC, and then yeah, it's bounced up about it went from 0.48 to 0.57. But here's the thing, Zach. The number was already built in. We knew we weren't going to get it. We weren't going to get a raise. And I'm going to bring this back to your point. Everybody's now waiting on Papa Powell's speech.
Right. What's the temperature in the room? What's next? Right now, we want to know about December. Now we want to know about Q1. I was listening to a great interview. I don't know if you ever listened to. This goes for everybody out there too. Tom Ballou or whatever. He has a great YouTube channel. Tom Ballou. It's like BIL. You'll find it right away. Tom Ballou. And he basically just interviews like super successful, interesting people. He just had Arthur Hayes on, who is the CEO of, I think, BitGet, which is one of the big exchanges.
Yep.
And he's a macro econ guy, kind of like Raoul Paul. And I listened to this whole thing last night, and just the outlook he has here is very fascinating. And he thinks that we're getting ready for a massive, massive bull run, followed by a very deep recession. But he thinks a huge, huge bull run is going to hit for everything. And he thinks crypto is going to be the biggest beneficiary. 25, 26. He even likes it going into 26. Then the end of the decade, a depression like we haven't seen since the Great Depression. That's his outlook. Yeah, go ahead.
That's what I was waiting for, the time frame. I've heard these almost from different people. I've heard that exact same story, is that
they're going to print
massive
money like crazy.
Yeah, we're going to go. Everything's going to go
to the freaking universe, to the moon. Yeah. And then it's all going to come crashing down at the end of the decade. But it opens the door. I mean, and again, this is just an opinion, right? But an opinion that is coming from somebody who is a lot more versed and schooled on this than probably any of us. But anyway, the point of the story is this is the time. Like, this is the opportunity that we, like, these next 3-4 years, I think this is the window. And then if it does get really bad, hopefully we're all on our island somewhere, drinking our Mai Tais and just riding off into the craziness, and we'll be fine, right? We'll be fine.
So basically, I've said similar things. You have a certain amount of runway here to bank some serious cash. That's really what it comes down to.
Yep.
I think that's fundamentally it. So to kind of go back to the lead narrative here, guys, crypto is moving up a little bit. Actually, it's moved up about 0.3. So there we went from 0.48 to 0.72. I'm going to refresh this. If you're just tuning in, the Federal Reserve is going to pause. They're not going to raise interest rates. That's the breaking news. It's what we expected. Let me refresh this. So watch the Dow. Oh, the Dow, there it is. The Dow's going down a little bit. So it was up 80. Now it's up 43. But what we're waiting on is Chairman Papa Powell's speech to
Yep.
see how many words and how he says the word data. And we're going to wait and see. And, I tell you what, the man can talk a lot, but not say anything.
You're right. He's a master at that. The other thing I think he's going to speak to a little bit is we need more time. Like he
He
always seems
always
to
says
kind of
that.
say, yeah, like we need we need more data, more runway. So don't be surprised there. But I mean, coming back to the Bitcoin chart just for a second, like, we always expect to see some volatility on days like this. I mean, we got some volatility. I mean, we spiked all the way up here
Yep.
to over 35,000 just to then come back down. This is the 15-minute chart. So, I mean, this was all basically in the same hour and a half. We spiked all the way to 35,200, came all the way back down to 34,000. That's a pretty big swing there on Bitcoin, $1,000 in a short amount of time. Now it's kind of a slow build back up right now from where we kind of bottomed out at 34.1. And we're kind of back in that sweet spot at 34.5 where we've kind of been there for a while. We've been kind of consolidating somewhere in this range for a little while. So we'll see if anything he says kind of moves us one way or the other.
Yeah. I mean, he's going to basically say nothing, but it's going to come down to tone and the overriding consensus of what he is and is not saying. Again, what is it? Hawkish and dovish, right? Hawkish equals bearish, dovish equals bullish. I'm like, why don't they just freaking call it that? Call it bearish and bullish, but we've got our own little terms for Papa Powell's speech. It's funny as hell. Yeah,
Keep
and
it
that's what we're
simple.
waiting on. So we're just kind of, which should be approximately in about 12 minutes, right? Yeah, there we
Yeah.
go.
Yeah. 12:30 p.m. Eastern here. So yeah, we're still waiting. We got about 12 minutes or so, and he should be taking the stage, and we'll try to line it up and match it up here, and we can listen to some of it and react to it a little bit. We'll see how the market responds to it. But
Yeah.
everybody out
Mhm.
there, if you guys haven't hit that like button, whether you're on
Oh yeah,
Austin's
please hit
channel or
the
my
like button.
channel, definitely do that. Let's get some more people in here. I know there's a bunch of people streaming it out here, but we're kind of taking the crypto aim and the crypto side of it. So push us up in the old algorithm if you guys would, and of course subscribe if you're new. We're here every single day. Both of us here.
Every day.
Been
Yeah,
here for 2.5 years, almost 3 years now.
almost 3 years.
Isn't
Yeah,
that
people are wanting to
crazy?
see the Solana chart. This is the Solana chart, guys. It's insane.
You're
That's
gonna like
100
that.
plus in the last 18 days. We're up 104 plus percent, and that's just nice.
Very nice.
Nice.
Noise.
Very nice. Yeah. Um,
Noise.
Boca, did you get your sound back? It was like you were having some issues. Solana, there you go. Solana does not care. No, Solana is just
Does not
outpacing
care.
the entire freaking crypto market, right? Let's see. Let's see. Solana on the 7-day. It's not, well, it's getting beat by AR, Thor, and right now Quantum.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep.
But yeah, Solana just is I did a video the other day, Zach, talking about Solana. $37 was resistance, and then $40 is resistance,
Yep.
and just have absolutely blown by those like they were not even there, those resistance levels, you
Yep.
know.
It's crazy. And I got that question in there. Abdi, I think somebody else asked, is this the algo that we use, XT or X1?
Yes.
It only is used for trading view. That is correct. The good thing is you can use the free version to use this. You could set your
Trading view,
customer
yeah.
alerts.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then somebody else asked, what time frame are you using? It just depends. I mean, I think Austin, you like the 2 to 3 hour time frame quite a bit, but
Yeah.
your momentum up signal will flash on the 1 day as well. You may just miss out on some gains the longer you take the time frame
Yeah.
back,
See,
but it's
like
also better data if you go on
yeah.
the 1 day. It's like
So
more
like this
solidified.
So like that's a good question. So this is the 2 hour right here. See, this is a 2 hour time frame. So if I change this to 1 hour, by the way, notice there's no momentum. Either there's no momentum down, which is a sell.
Yep.
So if I change this to the 1 hour, right there, see how it starts. What it does is it just depends on kind of. It's the same exact data, guys. It's just giving you a lot more opportunities to buy and sell along the way because like right here, see how Solana kind of started consolidating? So it kind
Mhm.
of started going sideways. So that's when it's giving you more, you're just getting more granular. Whereas if you, to Zach's point, if you want to look at like one day, now I got to now I got to redo this. So you can see like,
Hit that little toggle button down there.
where's,
Yep,
where's
you're
one?
right there, right above the time, right above
That?
that. Yeah, click that, and then hit reset price scale all the way at the
Oh,
top.
there you go.
Bang.
Woohoo. I love it when Zach shows me something. But you can see like right here that, oh, I'm sorry, I'm still drawing. Like right here, like this is that same move. It's
Yep.
showing you that's 115 plus percent right there, 111. But like right here, and there's one right there. You can see like that's 36% again, but
Oh,
ultimately, guys, it's really use somebody's indicator. Don't want to use ours, fine. But they just give you, I mean, you could see, like, you could just follow it, like back here was one right here. This was 95%.
yep.
This, then sell, wait it out. Then this one right here is probably little. Yeah, it's like 11%. Sell. And then, but don't take the loss right here. So you sell, then you sit out, then you go, okay, wait right here. You got 39 plus percent, sell. That, Zach, to your point, that's what I love about the daily. If you don't really want to be involved, I mean, you're going to miss a little bit, but that's a great return just doing the daily right there. You
Right,
know?
and you don't have to be watching it as much. So if you want to just kind of do longer time frames, somebody else asked, why do we think Solana is doing this? Austin, if you would kind of, if you want to switch back over, because I kind of have a thought on this, and I read
But
something I really liked
you're
it.
up. Yeah.
So basically, if we're looking at this, right, because we always get more info the more we kind of zoom out and look at this. All right, so what happened here? All right, so this was Solana in the bear market, guys. This was Solana last year, okay? June 2022 till about October 2022. We know what happened in November, right? Everybody remembers Sam Bankman-Fried drama. There it
Yep.
is, right? So
Yep.
basically, Solana is getting back, in my opinion here, Solana is getting back to where it should have been in the bear market. This was the bear market, guys. Like
Yep.
this was Solana down here at 33, 32 bucks in the bear market. And then it sold off all the way to $8 because of how tied Solana was with FTX and Alameda Research and all the
Yep.
negative sentiment around that. And there you go. So they were so oversold. I mean, imagine using our indicator down here. Look at this. I mean,
Yeah.
it flashed the momentum up as early as 13 bucks way back in January to start the year. Now, obviously, you could have sold and traded this along the way, but even if you bought down here and just, you could use this indicator for the long term. What if you bought down here and said, okay, I'm going to hold it to the next bull cycle? Man, you're looking great right now because it got back
Yep.
to where it kind of should have been anyway.
Yep.
And what you're seeing now is, I think you're starting to see, okay, Solana's got its footing back. You're probably seeing a lot of investors now that feel a little bit more confident and say, hey, I liked Solana before. They're back in action. Now I'm coming back in, right? And so I think it's kind of a perfect storm there for Solana. But there's no doubt there's a lot of big money with Solana. If you guys remember back in 2021, there was like I don't even know, 5-6 week stretch. It felt like forever, where every single time I looked at the top 100, sorted it by the highest gainer, it was freaking Solana. And then AVAX had its little run too. Those were the two big layer ones that just started pumping like crazy toward the back half of the bull run. So that's my take on Solana.
Dude,
A lot of people
that's,
asking.
every now and then I forget that you're actually pretty freaking smart.
Well, I mean, it's just
I'm giving you
honestly,
shit.
I heard it
That
from
was well
somebody
done.
else, and I'm like, I like that. I
Yeah,
heard it
that
on
was well
another
done. Well
I
done.
heard it on another article or video or whatever. I'm like, I
Yeah.
agree with that. I was like,
All right,
I'm gonna
I've
try
got.
that.
Did you Boca's dropping some alpha here? Did you see this? I saw something about this on Twitter
Yes,
X. I,
I just saw the
what?
tweet you did. I didn't see the details, but
Wow.
yeah, I don't know exactly what happened there, but there was a lot with SafeMoon that was
Yeah,
sketch.
Boca, go grab us, go grab an article on that or something if you can, or if there's any like a news story on that, if you can, you Bocas or somebody, I don't care who, but somebody go to the Google, somebody use the Google, CoffeeZilla pasted the link. Oh, okay. I didn't
I saw a
see
bunch
it.
of different tweets. I'm sure
Uh,
CoffeeZilla will do an epic video on it. He always does.
Oh yeah, somebody give me a link to a tweet or something. Yeah, and then we'll look at it. But no, back to SafeMoon, back to Solana, Zach. I hadn't really thought about it. Oh, it was a tweet from the New York City AG. Wow. Okay. Um, I think that's really what it comes down to because you and I were Solana was dead on arrival with that whole FTX SBF. I mean, everybody was saying they were going to be gone tomorrow. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. No,
and
100%. And there was a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt because the thing was we didn't really know why Sam Bankman-Fried and Solana were so connected. Like there was still a lot of I
I
wouldn't
can't
even call
grab
it
that.
FUD. It was just
Can't grab that
uncertainty,
link.
you know?
Yeah, I
And then
can't
we
grab
later
that.
found out that it wasn't anybody from Solana. It was just he felt like he can manipulate it, and that's the
Yep.
one he picked. So it was kind of just like, okay, it's not Solana itself. It was just the one that Sam Bankman-Fried picked. Um, I mean, at one point, I don't even know how much of the supply he owned, which was just insane. But now we know he's gone, right? And they're going to have to sell off some of their, or they already had to start selling some of their assets. And I think it just opens the door now for people who were, sitting on the sidelines saying, "Man, that seems a little sketchy." Now they're like, "Okay, we're good."
Yep. Thanks for the link there, guys. So this is it. I mean, I just Googled it. I found it, obviously. So the SEC has charged them. So there's that. That's coming out today. The SafeMoon guys. So there's DOJ. So that, wow. Okay. So SEC charges them, DOJ charges them. Oh my goodness gracious. They're in a world of hurt. Goodness. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, hmm.
Never did get into Safe Moon.
No, I didn't either. Didn't buy it. Really, I think you and I talked about it occasionally on the channel, just like an
'Cause it was
update
hot.
video. But yeah, we never did the Safe Moon thing. And so for anybody who got caught in the Safe Moon stuff, my heart goes out to you because I know that. So yeah, but that's obviously going. This is breaking news. There you go. So
So in the 5 minute, by the way, our Bitcoin XT and X1 just flashed a momentum up not too long ago in the five
there you
minute.
go. Yep.
So right around at the 34.5 level, and now we're at 34.6. So we are starting to creep back up here. We're 2 minutes away from hearing JPOW too. So we'll see what these markets do. I mean, do you think he could say something that can like pump us, excuse me, pump us past like 35,200? I mean, is there something he could say that we could set like a new local high or a new yearly high here during
I,
this?
I mean, if he says no rate hike in December,
Mm,
yeah, but he's not going to say that. He's not going to say that. You and I have watched enough of these. He's not going to say that, right?
probably not.
And I mean, he's going to say a lot without saying a lot,
Yeah.
and then you're going to watch for an hour or so after that. Watch the stock market, and that's the fastest way you're going to tell, literally live as it's unfolding. What do they think?
Yep.
You know,
100%. I'm going to share my whole screen because then we could do like a little split screen action.
did you we need to figure out how to do the audio real quick so we can catch him on the speaker. I think the last time you
Yeah, I
used
got it.
your phone.
I got it queued up. I got my phone. It might just give you might just have to give me a couple minutes to kind of queue it up. I think I'm
Yeah.
close right now. Um, is there a way to like snap the two screens where they just evenly split? I know there was a way to do that
Oh,
back in the
and
day. That's
let's
all
see.
right. We'll make it work. So
Yeah, you
I can
got.
do this. That's kind of
Oh, that's
cool, right?
cool. Yeah, yeah, that's fine. That'll just show.
That's our
Um,
Bitcoin chart.
like you can compress the left chart, the left screen down a little bit more, and where they're not where they're not overlapping because you got the screens overlapping right now.
I got you. So even
Yeah, like
come,
that, and then now give more real estate, if you will. Yeah,
how's
and
that?
then that's on the. What do you got that on the 5 minute? Yeah,
That's
that's
the
fine.
5 minute. Not bad,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Do
But
something like that, and then we could bring this out a little bit
Ron
more.
says, fold your monitor and
Oh, that's how you split it, right?
hey, Angela's in the house. What's up, Foxy?
What up, Foxy? Uh-oh.
Oh, all right. See if we can get it low to work here. Oh, he's not said anything though.
We understand the
There he is.
hardship that high inflation is causing, and we remain strongly committed to bringing inflation back down to our 2% goal. Price stability is the responsibility of the Federal Reserve.
Not
Without
quite.
price stability, the economy does not work for anyone. In particular, without price stability.
Let's try it again. We'll get it.
This is high-end tech, guys. He's syncing his phone to the audio because the software we use, it's hard to get the audio to come through on somebody else's video.
Policy is putting downward pressure on economic activity and inflation, and the full effects of our tightening have yet to be felt. Today, we decided to leave our policy interest rate unchanged and to continue to reduce our securities holdings. Given how far we have come, along with the uncertainties and risks we face, the committee is proceeding.
I don't know which
carefully.
one's ahead. Shit.
We will make decisions about the extent of additional policy firming and how long policy will remain restrictive based on the totality of the incoming data, the evolving outlook, and the balance of risks. I'll have more to say about monetary policy after briefly reviewing economic developments. Recent indicators suggest that economic activity has been expanding at a strong pace and well above early. Economic activity has been expanding at a strong pace and well above earlier expectations. In the third quarter, real GDP is estimated to have risen an outsized annual rate of 4.9%, boosted by a surge in consumer spending. After picking up somewhat over the summer, activity in the housing sector has flattened out and remains well below levels of a year ago, largely reflecting higher mortgage rates.
Getting closer.
Higher interest rates also appear to be weighing on business fixed investment. The labor market remains tight, but supply and demand conditions continue to come into better balance. Over the past 3 months, payroll job gains averaged 266,000 jobs per month, a strong pace that is nevertheless below that seen earlier in the year. The unemployment rate remains low at 3.8%. Strong job creation has been accompanied by an increase in the supply of workers. The labor force participation rate has moved up since late last year, particularly for individuals aged 25 to 54 years, and immigration has rebounded to pre-pandemic levels. Nominal wage growth has shown some signs of easing, and job vacancies have declined so far this year. Although the jobs to workers gap has narrowed, labor demand still exceeds the supply of available workers. Inflation remains well above our longer run goal of 2%. Total PCE prices rose 3.4% over the 12 months ending in September. Excluding the volatile food and energy categories, core PCE prices rose 3.7%. Inflation has moderated since the middle of last year, and readings over the summer were quite favorable. But a few months of good data are only the beginning of what it will take to build confidence that inflation is moving down sustainably toward our goal. The process of getting inflation sustainably down to 2% has a long way to go. Despite elevated inflation, longer-term inflation expectations appear to remain well anchored, as reflected in a broad range of surveys of households, businesses, and forecasters.
There it goes.
As well as measures from financial markets.
It's moving.
The Fed's monetary policy actions are guided by our mandate to promote maximum employment and stable prices for the American people. My colleagues and I are acutely aware that high inflation imposes significant hardship as it erodes purchasing power, especially for those least able to meet the higher costs of essentials like food, housing, and transportation. We are highly attentive to the risks that high inflation poses to both sides of our mandate, and we are strongly committed to returning inflation to our 2% objective. As I noted earlier, since early last year, we have raised our policy rate by 5.25 percentage points, and we have decreased our securities holdings by more than $1 trillion. Our restrictive stance of monetary policy is putting downward pressure on economic activity and inflation. The committee decided at today's meeting to maintain the target range for the federal funds rate at 5.25% to 5.5%, and to continue the process of significantly reducing our securities holdings. We are committed to achieving a stance of monetary policy that is sufficiently restrictive to bring inflation sustainably down to 2% over time, and to keeping policy restrictive until we are confident that inflation is on a path to that objective. We are attentive to recent data showing the resilience of economic growth and demand for labor. evidence of growth persistently above potential, or that tightness in the labor market is no longer easing, could put further progress on inflation at risk and could warrant further tightening of monetary policy. Financial conditions have tightened significantly in recent months, driven by higher, longer-term bond yields, among other factors. Because persistent changes in financial conditions can have implications for the path of monetary policy, we monitor financial developments closely. In light of the uncertainties and risks and how far we have come, the committee is proceeding carefully. We will continue to make our decisions meeting by meeting based on the totality of the incoming data and their implications for the outlook and for economic activity and inflation, as well as the balance of risks. In determining the extent of additional policy firming that may be appropriate to return inflation to 2% over time, the committee will take into account the cumulative tightening of monetary policy, the lags with which monetary policy affects economic activity and inflation, and economic and financial developments. We remain committed to bringing inflation back down to our 2% goal and to keeping longer-term inflation expectations well anchored. Reducing inflation is likely to require a period of below potential growth and some softening of labor market conditions. Restoring price stability is essential to set the stage for achieving maximum employment and stable prices over the longer run. To conclude, we understand that our actions affect communities, families, and businesses across the country. Everything we do is in service to our public mission. We at the Fed will do everything we can to achieve our maximum employment and price stability goals. Thank you, and I look forward to your questions.
Zach, mute it on your phone. Just mute it on your phone.
To what you referenced, the rise in long-term
Keeps it playing, but mute it.
Yep.
Okay, so let's summarize this. What I didn't hear was hawkish, and I'm looking at real quickly. I'm gonna show you this. So I'm looking at Yahoo, right? So the Dow and the Nasdaq have both moved up dramatically. So the street is reacting positively. So there's the answer, right? He was very neutral. I'm saying this and then I want your opinion.
Yep.
He was very neutral in his speech, which is exactly perfect. What's your 2 cents?
Agreed 100%. There was no reason to pump, but there was no reason to dump. So we decided to pump.
Yeah, so you can see the Dow and the Nasdaq are both instantly reacting. And crypto, I was watching it, is now, I'm going to refresh. Crypto's done it too. So crypto's moved up a half a point from when you and I started 30 minutes ago.
Absolutely love it. Yeah, Bitcoin is at 34.5. Actually just dumped quite a bit. So
yeah, there you go. So you're back. That's your sharing. So yeah.
A tightening of broader financial.
Yeah, we had a sell off just a little bit.
As I mentioned, persistent
just on the 1 minute.
Broader financial conditions can have implications for the path of monetary policy. In this case, the tighter financial conditions.
Yeah, mute it and explain what you mean there, real quick.
Also from other sources like
the
dollar and lower.
Mm-hmm.
Mute that, and so explain that, Zach. You're looking at a 1 minute chart that you mean so people don't freak out. You're looking at literally a 1 minute chart.
No, this is still. I mean, yeah. When we zoom out here, it's nothing crazy, guys. I mean, it's like there's your half hour. If we oops. Yeah, like I mean, there's your half hour. So we had the pump earlier. I mean, it's nothing crazy.
Yeah, but overall crypto is moving up. The market's moving up. We went from a half point up 0.5 to now up 1 point up, and we're watching Bitcoin. What do you have that on 1 minute?
That's the 1 minute. Yeah, I think somebody put in there Bitcoin still digesting. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks for that, Ron. Absolutely. I agree 1,000,000%, Ron.
To the extent this tightening persists, and the mind's eye goes to the
what the hell? Austin is already researching mobility scooters. What the hell does that mean?
So that's how I would answer your question.
Just as a quick follow-up to be clear on this, in your opening statement and just now,
Angela,
you imply that you are not yet confident that financial conditions are restrictive enough to finish the fight. Is that true?
Yes, that's exactly right. To say it a different way, we haven't made any decisions about future meetings. We have not made a determination, and we're not. I will say that we're not confident at this time that we've reached such a stance. We're not confident that we haven't. We're not confident that we have, and that is the way we're going to be going into these future meetings. Is to be, just
say you don't know
the extent of any additional.
Oh, he's not going to say that.
Policy.
We're not confident.
That may be appropriate.
Okay, hold on now. Look at this.
What time?
Okay, look at this. Dow is dumping. We went from being up 175 to now we're only up 81.
Yeah.
Hi, Chair Powell. Thank you so much for taking our questions.
And the market, but crypto is up 1.17.
Would the presumption be that at that point that we should expect that rates are at their peak, or is there a possibility of restarting rate increases next year? And are there any costs to taking a more extended pause?
So,
give us something.
Let me start by saying we haven't made a decision about September. You're asking a hypothetical.
September.
But we're going into the December meeting. We'll get, as you know, 2 more inflation readings, 2 more labor market readings, some data on economic activity, and so we'll be taking, and also the broader situation, the broader financial conditions situation, and the broader world situation. We'll be looking at all those things as we make a decision in December. We haven't made that decision. I would say, though, that the idea that the idea that you would be difficult to raise again after stopping for a meeting or two is just not right. I mean, the committee will always do what it thinks is appropriate at the time. And again, we haven't made any decisions at all about December. We didn't talk about making a decision
real quick.
today. Really, it was a decision for this meeting and understand.
Look at this. Solana, we looked at it a minute ago, it was up 104%. It's up 120 plus percent. Solana
it continues to give zero. You know what?
Dude, Solana does not care. I think you get credit for a great analogy earlier. For those of you guys missed it, Zach pulled up the 1-year chart, showed how Solana dumped to $8 back around the FTX SBF thing, and said, hey, we're basically kind of back to where Solana should have been when all the fear and the FUD was around that. But this run right here, I mean, is absolutely just insane. I mean, up, in 30 days, in 30 plus days, it's just crushing and running. It's just crazy,
Love it, man. And I knew it had some room to run. I mean, you talked about that last resistance at $40. I knew after that, I think the next one after that's 47. So we'll be looking there.
It's not even slowing down. That's what's insane.
Crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's good stuff, man.
I love it.
The main reason is we just don't know how persistent this will be. You can see how volatile it is. Different kinds of news will affect the level of rates. And I think any kind of an estimate that was, precise
coming
would
back
hang
a little
out
bit
there and have a great chance of looking wrong very quickly. So I think what we can say is that financial conditions have clearly tightened, and you can see that in the rates that consumers and households and businesses are paying now. And over time, that will have an effect. We just don't know how persistent it's going to be, and it's tough to try to translate that in a way that I'd be comfortable communicating into how many rate hikes that is.
If I could follow up, I guess what makes you confident that what makes you confident that tighter financial conditions will slow above trend growth when 500 basis points of rate hikes, QT, and a minor banking crisis have not thus far?
Well, that's the way our policy works is, and sometimes it works with lags, of course, which can be long and variable. But ultimately, if you raise raise interest rates, you do see those effects, and you see those effects in the economy now. You see what's happening in the housing market. You're seeing that now. You'll see if you look at surveys of people, it's not a good time, they think, to buy durable goods of various kinds because rates are so high now. I mentioned again, we're getting reports from housing that the effects of this could be quite significant. But you're right. This has been a resilient economy, and it's, I think, been surprising in its resilience. And there are a number of possible reasons why that may be. Our job is to achieve maximum employment and price stability, and so we take the economy as it comes. It has been resilient, so we take it as it is.
Colby. Thank you. Colby Smith with the Financial Times. In terms of the thresholds that you've laid out of what could warrant further tightening, the additional evidence of persistently above trend growth or some kind of reversal in the recent easing of labor market tightness, that seems to suggest something more powerful than just one more quarter point rate hike would be necessary. And I'm just curious if that's how the committee sees it.
So we've identified those factors. Those are not meant to be the only factors or a specific test that we're going to be applying with some metrics behind it. Really, we're going to be looking at the broader picture and what's happening with our progress toward the 2% inflation goal. Is the labor market continuing to broadly cool off and achieve a better balance? We'll be looking at that. Growth. We look at growth insofar as it has implications for our two mandate goals. We look at that. And we look at broader financial conditions. So we'll be looking at all of those things as we reach a judgment, whether we need to further tighten policy. And if we do reach that judgment, then we will further tighten policy.
Okay. And just in terms of the tightening of financial conditions, if that is having some kind of offsetting effect in terms of the need to potentially, again, raise rates, what then is the potential impact on the trajectory of rate cuts? Could we see those maybe pulled forward or have to see more than what the September SEP indicated?
So it's the fact is the committee is not thinking about rate cuts right now at all. We're not talking about rate cuts. We're still very focused on the first question, which is have we achieved a stance of monetary policy that's sufficiently restrictive to bring inflation down to 2% over time sustainably? That is the question we're focusing on. The next question, as you know, will be for how long will we remain restrictive? Will policy remain restrictive? And what we said there is that we'll keep policy restrictive until we're confident that inflation is on a sustainable path down to 2%. That'll be the next question. But honestly, right now, we're really tightly focused on the first question. The question of rates cuts just doesn't come up because I think the first, it's so important to get that first question, as close to right as you can.
Steve Leisman, CNBC. Mr. Chairman, I guess I had assumed that there was a tightening bias in the committee. You say in the statement you're looking to assess the appropriate stance of monetary policy, the extent to which you may need to hike additionally. You didn't say earlier that you were sufficiently restrictive. There were forecasts for 2 rate hikes among most members of the committee. But then you just said that, we haven't made a determination. Would you say the bias right now is neutral, that there is no disposition to hike again, and that the committee largely has moved off of this forecast for 2 hikes? Or for one additional hike?
I think you're talking about one additional. Yeah, I wouldn't say that at all. I would say, the language, looking at it here, in determining the extent of additional policy firming that may be appropriate to return inflation 2% over time. That's the question we're asking.
So is it right to think of that as a hiking bias is still in the committee here?
We haven't used that term, but it's fair to say that's the question we're asking is, should we hike more? It's not, and that is the question. And you're right that in September, we wrote down one additional rate hike, but, we'll write down another forecast, as you know, in December.
Chris.
Thank you. Chris Rugaber at Associated Press. Well, since the last meeting, the auto workers strike has finished. Oil prices have leveled off. And yet, on the other hand, you have the outbreak of war between Israel and Hamas. How do you see all those factors taken together affecting the economy going forward? How are you thinking about those?
So there are.
Look at this. The Dow's down. It's bouncing up, only up 43. The Dow's gone as far as to only be up 10, but it's about Dow's moving around a lot. So it's digesting real time what the man is saying.
Trader's paradise today.
Oh, dude. Yeah. Day traders are just all over this. But yeah. So anyway.
When you zoom out for Bitcoin too, guys, that's the Bitcoin chart in the daily, right? Yeah. So, since we were at 25K, remember when we started to move up, that's where we are. That's still looking really bullish. I just saw an article flash somewhere. We'll have to go check it out after. Already people saying Bitcoin to 38,000. So we'll see.
I've said this in videos. So we got this question, good or bad. Here's what's really come down, guys, is that we didn't raise the interest rate. His overall speech has been very neutral, not bearish, not bullish. the market's moved around as he's been answering these questions. It's been as high as up 170. The crypto market has, let's see, I haven't refreshed this. So the crypto market is now backed off up 1.1 and change, now up only up 0.78. So you're seeing the markets kind of adjust real time to this. But I think ultimately what's going to come down is that this is, I think you said it earlier, Zach, it's kind of a nothing burger that we expected, as far as not raising the rate. And we were waiting for a speech.
I think the real question is now, will we see kind of a delayed reaction and Bitcoin start to continue to move up? Because I think in some ways, these last, whatever it's been, 4, 5, 6 days where Bitcoin's kind of just been flat, I think they were kind of waiting for this. And now it looks as if the market's kind of taking this in and really doing nothing with it. I mean, do you think now we'll finally see Bitcoin kind of break through and make another little run here?
I think the next 48 hours will be that telling scenario. I think you'll continue to see Bitcoin consolidate and not do a lot as it digests this, this information. But I've said it earlier, and I think you said it as well. I think not having an interest rate hike, staying the same, really clears the proverbial runway, whatever metaphor you want to use, and gives us the runway to not have, stuff in our way for a decent November. Now we've still got labor report, the new labor report, and the new CPI report to see what they say. And we still have the fear out there, out there for this December. Here we go. Let's see. So Piotr, Austin, best scammer on YouTube. Hey, thanks. What happened to Banana Task Force Escape? Hey, it was a deal I covered and I gave full disclosure and I lost some money on it as well. So thanks for stopping by. See ya.
Yeah.
I love that. What seriously, go do something else with your life. Okay.
I know.
Somebody, I'm sure people are laughing at that now. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, that's what I think. What do you think?
I mean, I think we have a good chance here to make another run. I do. I mean, if we look at the daily here, it's been flat, but it has been trending so slightly up since Friday, since the 27th. So, and I think now on this news, I mean, I think 38,000 is our next target. At least that's what I was reading from Michael Van de Pope. Maybe we go up there and test it now. Here's the other thing. We got the Bitcoin ETF and all of that lingering. Right. So where does that kind of fit in to the overall narrative? I actually did a pop-up Twitter space last night. Me and Oscar Ramos. It was real late. We were sitting there. We did a little pop-up space, and we brought up a good, I think, point. Do you think there are more people right now in the short to intermediate? Okay, I'm not talking about long term. Long term, I think Bitcoin's going to 120, 130,000 in this cycle. But in the midterm to intermediate, are there more people waiting to sell Bitcoin on the ETF being announced, or are there more people waiting to buy Bitcoin when it's announced? In other words, will this be a quick buy the rumor, sell the news event? Is the market pricing in the Bitcoin ETF already in the short term? And I say all that because no matter what, we can take advantage of it. It's an opportunity, right? Especially using a trading indicator, by the way, that we have down below in the description. Quick little plug. But yeah, I mean, I think it's an interesting question. Here's
how I'm going to answer this. I'm going to not answer it with my own answer, and I'm going to show this. So this was Rect Capital. Got to give them complete credit. Rect Capital did a fantastic Twitter post talking about the cycles for the Bitcoin halving. Now, this is not ETF, but it does kind of go to the heart, Zach, of kind of run-up cycles and when. So if you look right here where my mouse is right here, this was 2019. It shows Bitcoin. This shows Bitcoin pre-halving and the cycles. It shows Bitcoin, kind of the orange box. The blue box is a kind of an accumulation phase. The actual event. So kind of running up to the event and then the sell-off. So over here on the right is 2023. So it shows that the blue box right here, which is where we're entering into leading up to April 5th, April 2024. We could see Bitcoin go to the, probably 40, 41, 42,000. But then I want to focus you on the red box, right? The red box is a decline. It's it's the buy on the news, sell on the event. This goes directly to your point. The red box being that we will probably see a sell-off after the Bitcoin halving.
That's
so
good.
I think,
I mean,
well, yeah, but now I'm bringing it back to, I think, to your answer or your question of the ETF. The only issue is we don't know when we don't have a date for the ETF.
True.
So I think that's probably the only issue we have is if we had a date, hell yeah. Buy the news, sell the event. Hell yeah.
Makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm with you on that. Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to watch. It'll be interesting to watch it play out for sure. I mean, because again, no matter what, there's going to be dips, and those are just opportunities, I think, especially if you missed out on this 25,000 to 34,000. I don't think you go rushing in to just dump all your money into Bitcoin unless you have a really long time horizon. There will be ebbs and flows. So there'll be more opportunity. But
I think there's a ton of opportunity.
You want to hear what they're saying?
Yeah. So somebody asked, oh, here we go. This is a good question. Do we think Solana? No, that's not it. Do I think Solana is being bought by institutions? Absolutely. Institutions own a bunch of Solana, just like they own all of the top cryptos, by the way, guys. But I think this is a broad market. The move for Solana is a broad market move. That's what you're saying. It's retail and institutional money.
Yep.
Is he saying anything new? Is Papa Powell saying anything worth repeating?
Well, I guess some people out there probably want to hear it. I mean, we could flip it on.
Well, here's before I hold on. Look at this. Whatever he's saying is good because the Dow's now back up 142 and crypto is back.
It's moving up.
Level. It's basically level from about 10 minutes ago.
He's answering Mike. He's answering Mike McKee.
I think the efficacy of the dot plot probably decays over the 3 month period between that meeting and the next meeting. But nonetheless, it's out there, and we do personally update our forecast, but we don't formally update the dot plot. So, I think we try to be as transparent as we can about the way we're thinking about these things. We're laying out there our thinking, and as we approach the meeting, we'll all be, my colleagues and I will be talking about how we're processing that data. In terms of, we're not really changing the way in terms of growth. What I said was below potential. So what you have here recently is growth that is temporarily, potential growth is elevated for a year or two right now over its trend level. So the right way to think about it is what's potential growth this year. People think trend growth over a long period of time is a little bit less than 2%, or I would say just around 2%. But what we've had is with the improvement in the size of the labor force, as I mentioned, through both participation and immigration, and with the better functioning in the labor market, and with the unwinding of the supply chain and shortages and those kinds of things, you're seeing actually elevated potential growth. There's catch-up growth that can happen in potential. And that means that if you could be growing at 2% this year and still be growing below the increase in the potential output of the economy. I hope that's
trying to set
increase in the potential output of the economy. I hope that's clear. That's really what's going on. That's why I would say it as below potential.
But if you could clarify what I asked about the meeting by meeting, are we essentially now supposed to assume that it's a meeting by meeting, live meeting with a chance of a rate increase that will be decided on subjective criteria rather than objective at each meeting?
Yes.
I don't know that I want to just accept anybody's characterization of it. I'll tell you how we're doing this. So we're going meeting by meeting. We're asking ourselves whether we've achieved a stance of policy that is sufficiently restrictive to bring inflation down to 2% over time. That's the question we're asking. We're looking at the full range of economic data, including financial conditions and all of those things that we look at. And then we've come very far with this rate hiking cycle, very far. And you saw the spread at the September meeting of, it's a relatively small spread of people think 1 or 2 additional hikes. So you're close to the end of the cycle. That was an impression as of a belief as of September. It's not a promise or a plan of the future. And so we're going into these meetings one by one. We're looking at the data. As I mentioned, we're also, we're being careful. We're proceeding carefully because we can proceed carefully at this time. Monetary policy is restrictive. We see its effects, particularly in interest-sensitive spending and other channels. So that's how I think about it.
Neil. Thanks. Hi, Chair Powell. Neil Irwin with Axios. In light of the run-up in long-term yields we've seen the last several weeks, have you given any consideration to the pace of your asset program? And if there were a judgment that the higher term premium was endangering the dual mandate goals, would that be a reason to think about slowing or suspending QT? Or should we think of that as more of a technical question around reserves?
So committee is not considering changing the pace of balance sheet runoff. It's not something we're talking about or considering. And I know there are many candidate explanations for why rates have been going up. And QT is certainly on that list. It may be playing a relatively small effect, although I would say at $3.3 trillion in reserves, it's not. I think it's hard to make a case that reserves are even close to scarce at this point. So that's not something that we're looking at right now.
Victoria.
Hi, Victoria Guido with Politico. I wanted to ask about the Basel III endgame capital proposal. You've gotten a lot of pushback from people on different aspects of the proposal, and you yourself expressed some reservations. And I'm just curious, could you accept finalizing that proposal without significant changes?
So that proposal is out for comment, and we expect a lot of comment. We won't get those comments until the end of well into next year. We've extended the deadline, and we'll take them seriously. We'll read them. I'll say what I do expect is that we will come to we're a consensus driven organization. We'll come to a package that has broad support on the board.
So does broad support mean more support than the proposal had?
It means broad support.
Janelle Marte with Bloomberg. So, in addition to persistence, when you look at long-term treasury yields, what else are you watching to evaluate how those tighter financial conditions are hitting the economy, and if it will lessen the need for further tightening? Also, do you think that those higher yields could affect banking stress?
So what do we look at? We look at a very wide range of financial conditions. And in fact, as you'll know, different organizations publish different financial conditions indexes, which can have 7 or 8 variables, or they can have 100 variables. So there's a very rich environment, and we tend to look at a few of them. I'm not going to give you the names, but they're a few of the common ones that people look at. And so they're looking at things like the level of the dollar, the level of equity prices, the level of rates, the credit spreads. Sometimes they're pulling in credit availability and things like that. So it isn't any one thing. We would never look at, for example, long-term treasury rates in isolation, nor will we ignore them. But we would look at them as part of a broader picture. And they do play a role, of course, in many of the major standard financial condition indexes. Your second question was
on the banking stress.
Banking stress. So it's something we're watching. As you know, we did have there were issues with interest rate risk and also funding uninsured deposits in the March.
Now it's up 200 plus. Look.
So we've been working a lot with financial institutions.
NASDAQ's up 165.
Sure they have
Love it.
Good funding
Crypto
plans.
itself is
and that they have a plan for
bouncing up a little bit.
With the kind of portfolio unrealized losses that they have. We do think the banking system is quite resilient. We had a handful of bank failures, but so that's what we're out there doing, and we don't have any reason to think that these rate hikes are materially changing that picture, which is one of a strong banking system and one where there's a strong focus by banks and by supervisors on liquidity, on funding, and those sorts of things.
Scott.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. Scott Horsley from NPR. Last week, you and your colleagues put forward a proposal to lower the cap on debit card swipe fees for comment. Could you just talk a little about the considerations there, what it would mean for merchants, for banks, for consumers, and also just what y'all are seeing in terms of the use of both debit and credit cards in the payment system?
So you're right. We put a proposal out for comment is what we did. And, this is a job that Congress assigned us, as you of course know, in Dodd-Frank. And all we can really do is faithfully implement the statute. That's all we're trying to do. What else can we really do? It's a 90-day comment period. We typically don't comment on these things once they're out for comment. And we do hope that stakeholders, and we know that they will use this opportunity to express their views. They haven't been shy about that. So that's critical, and that's what I can say about that now.
Thank you. Thanks, Chair. Edward Lawrence with Fox Business. So over the last 3 months, the year-over-year PCE inflation was at 3.4%, core well over 3%. You've said in the past 2% remains the Federal Reserve target, but with no rate increase today, how long would you be okay then with a 3% or 3% plus overall inflation?
The progress is probably going to come in lumps and be bumpy, but we're making progress. I think the core PCE came down by almost 60 basis points in the third quarter. So the best thing I could point to you to would be the September SEP, where the expectation was that inflation by the end of next year on a 12-month trailing basis would be well into the twos, and the year after that further into the twos. So that's if you look historically, that's sort of consistent with the way inflation comes down. It does take some time.
What was the time period there? I missed that.
As you get further and further
from
those
I was looking at something else.
But the
later
good
next
news
year,
is
I think you said
we're making progress, and monetary policy is restrictive, and we feel like we're on a path to make more progress, and it's essential that we do.
But you've said in the past that doing too little on interest rates could take years to fix, but the cost of doing too much could be easily fixed. How robust was the debate about this pause on the doing too little side?
That's always the question we're asking ourselves, and we know that if we fail to restore price stability, the risk is that
November next year,
higher inflation get entrenched in the economy, and we know that that's really bad for people. Inflation will be both.
Oh, I'm getting a call. What the hell?
More higher, more volatile. That's a prescription for misery, and so we're really committed to not letting that happen. For the first year or so of our tightening cycle, the risk was all on the side of not doing enough. We've come far enough that the risks have gotten more two-sided. You can't identify that with a lot of precision, but it does feel like the risks are more two-sided now. But we're committed to getting inflation back down to our target over time, and we will.
Simon.
Simon Rabinovich with The Economist. Quick follow-up to the question about banking stresses. You talked about how the banking system is resilient. Of course, part of the resilience of the past year stems from the bank term funding program that you launched in March. Given that bond prices have not recovered, that unrealized losses are probably mounting, how likely is it that you might have to extend that program in March next year?
Good question. We haven't really been thinking about that yet. It's November 1, and that's a decision we'll be making in the first quarter of next year.
Great. Sorry, quick separate question about inflation expectations. The Michigan Sentiment Survey showed a big jump in 1 year ahead inflation expectations last month from 3.2 to 4.2. Last year, you said that particular survey was a really decisive factor in one of your rate hike decisions. If it stays elevated next time around, how big of an input will that be into your December thinking?
Yeah, we look at a range of things. I think the UM thing got blown out of proportion a little bit. It was actually a preliminary estimate that got revised away, and I said it was preliminary but that didn't get picked up. So we look at many things. I mean, so really look across the broad array of surveys and also market-based estimates, and we do that really carefully at every meeting and between meetings. And it's just clear that inflation expectations are in a good place. The public does believe that inflation will get back down to 2% over time, and it will. They're right. So, and there's no real crack in that armor. You can always find one reading that is a little bit out of whack. But honestly, the bulk of them are just very clear that the public believes that inflation will come down. And that's, of course, we believe that's critical in winning the battle.
Hi, Chair Powell. Megan Casella with Barron's. Thanks for taking our questions. I wanted to see if you could talk about the neutral rate. You mentioned today that you're still debating whether rates are sufficiently restrictive, and you've recently said that evidence is suggesting policy is not too tight right now. So I was curious if you could elaborate on that at all and whether that means the neutral rate, in your view, has risen.
Where's Megan? I wanted to see what she looked like.
So first thing to say is
she sounded cute. I was waiting to see what the heck she looked like.
Let me see her.
They didn't show her.
In the way we think about monetary policy, but you can't identify it with any precision in real time, and we know that.
Zach is the consummate bachelor.
Estimate of it with a grain of salt. What we know now is,
like, was she phoning in or something?
Within a range of estimates of the neutral rate, policy is restrictive, and it's therefore putting downward pressure on economic activity, hiring, and inflation. So we do talk about this. There's not any debate or attempt to sort of agree as a group on whether our star has moved or not. Some people think it has. Some people haven't said that don't think it has. Ultimately, it's unknowable. And so really, again, what we're focused on is
very academic looking
at the data and giving ourselves a little more time now to look carefully at the data by being careful in our moves. Does it feel like monetary policy is restrictive enough?
She looks like she'd be reading a book at the beach
over time. That's the question we're asking ourselves. I think years from now, economists will be revising their estimates of R star as it existed on November 1, 2023. We can't really wait for that in making policy. We have to.
That was funny.
Look, we have to have those models and look at them and think about them. And ultimately, we've got to look at the effects of that policy is having, accounting for the lags, which makes it difficult.
If I could follow up on a wages point earlier,
yes, she does.
Outlook, but I'm curious if you have
be
any
reading a
concerns
book.
whether wage inflation at its current level,
drinking a glass of Chardonnay for sure. She's a Chardonnay girl.
Reacceleration.
So if you look at the broad range of wages,
kale salad.
They have all the
Panera or something.
Really
yeah,
come
for
down
sure.
A dry kale salad.
Over the course of the last 18
with
months.
with all
you want
oil
any
and
dressing,
vinegar.
ma'am? No, no, thank you.
That level,
oil and vinegar on the side.
2% inflation over time, making
no, lemon.
She brings her own,
so it's much closer than it was.
There you go.
And that's true of the ECI, which is the one that we got this week. Average hourly earnings and compensation per hour too.
It's
so
not your average Fed watch party.
You have to look at a group of them because any one of them can be idiosyncratic in any given reading. So that's what you see. And so what you saw with the ECI reading was, if you look back, it comes out 4 times a year. You'll see it was much higher, and then it came down substantially in June. And then the September reading was more or less at the same level as the June reading. So in a way, it's just validating that decline. And it was very close to our expectations internally, too. So I think we feel good about that. Also, I would say it isn't, in my thinking, it's not the case that wages have been the principal driver of inflation so far. Although I do think it's fair to say that as we go forward, as monetary policy becomes more important relative to the supply side issues I talked about and the unwinding of the pandemic effects, it may be that the labor market becomes more important over time too.
There she is. Oh, they just showed her.
Nice.
Hi, Nancy Marshall-Genzer with Marketplace. Chair Paul, are you now as concerned about overshooting and raising interest
I thought her last
rates
name said
too
Gensler.
much as you are about getting inflation
yeah.
down to the 2% target?
So, as I mentioned, I think for much of the last year and a half, the concern was not doing too much, not doing enough.
Brandon,
It was
that's
not
epic,
getting rates
dude.
high enough in time.
That is hilarious.
Having inflation expectations, higher inflation expectations, become entrenched. So
she could probably drink you under the table. Probably.
I think we've
I
reached,
love this. I love MST 3000. You ever
18
seen
months
that?
into this.
What is this mystery?
You can see by the fact that we have slowed down, although we're still.
No, here, this is mystery. Here it is. So that's Mystery 3000. Us down there, right? Like us down here in the lower corner.
Yeah. Wait, I don't get it. I'm missing something.
Are getting more closer to bounce.
Mute him. Mute him.
What's Mystery?
So you never heard of Mystery Science Theater 3000?
No.
Okay, hold on. I'll show it to you. It's what it is it's really, really bad old movies. And then they've got these three little icons down in the bottom, and these guys are at the movies, and it's their silhouettes. And all they're doing is commenting and making snarky, smart-ass comments about what's being said in the movie. It's awesome.
I see.
Mystery Science. And you can watch it on YouTube, by the way. Mystery Science Theater 3000. Some of the best. It's awesome. Yeah, and somebody right here. Yeah, you're too young, brother. It's been around for a while.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Broadly cooling. Is it sort of validating the path we saw over the summer, where inflation was clearly cooling and coming down? Now we've seen periods like that before, and there hasn't been follow through. The data have bounced back. So, what are we seeing? Are we seeing is inflation still coming down? So that's the first thing. Second thing is in the labor market, what we've seen is a very positive rebalancing of supply and demand, partly through just much more supply coming online, and with labor demand still clearly remaining very strong. When you have the kind of job growth we've had over the last quarter, it's still very strong demand. So, and you see wage increases coming down as we discussed, but coming down, in a kind of gradual way. I think we want to see that whole set of processes continue.
All right, Mena, CNN. Do you think that has been any structural change in either consumption or in the job market that's pushing up inflation?
Yes, I am.
You obviously saw the third quarter GDP figures, which were strong, and some economists have expected revenge spending to have fizzled out by now. So I'm kind of wondering if there's been any structural change in consumption.
I wouldn't say there's been a structural change in consumption. I would say it's certainly been strong. And so a couple of things. We may have underestimated the balance sheet strength of households and small businesses, and that may be part of it.
Oh, this is getting pretty brutal, huh?
We've been...
let's kill it. Kill him. We're good.
I mean, I don't think the markets are doing anything crazy here, right?
Let's see. Add to stay. Let's see what we got here. So we're coming back. So Dow's up 200 plus, 230, 250. NASDAQ's up nice. Crypto is, drum roll. Yep. Crypto's bouncing. It bounced down to 0.78. So it's bouncing back up. That kind of thing.
I mean, we're kind of where we were before it all started, like basically, right?
Yep.
Which is kind of what we wanted.
Yeah, well, you said it, nothing burger, really. I mean, here's what I would say. I think it's more than a nothing burger. I thought that was a great comment from you. I think we got, we did not get hawkish comments.
That's big. Yeah.
That's big. That's the lead story.
Lead. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
For sure. I think it does set the stage now for us to potentially move up further because we still have the ETF hype. That's not going away. We have a little bit more clarity, I guess, in terms of, we didn't get something out of left field today. And it's kind of much of the same until we see them again in December.
Yeah. I mean, the surprise for me was labor was higher than expected. Labor report was higher than expected. CPI and PCE were higher than expected. I was mildly surprised when it started telecasting that we were not going to get a rate hike. That was surprising to me. But also they've been saying we're going to keep rates higher for longer, right? Mm-hmm. Meaning we were going to have this bell curve go up and then start immediately coming down. So I think that probably plays into that narrative as well. So probably can expect, I think a rate hike in December. if I had to be a betting man today, I would say we're probably going to get one in December.
That would be the third straight pause. If he did decide to pause in December, that seems like a lot.
It's not in keeping with what they've been doing all year, right? I mean, well, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Well, all of 22 and into this year is what I mean.
Right.
Yeah.
In other news, real quick, it feels as if Solana might be cooling off at least for a minute.
What do you got here?
At least for a little bit. I mean, so we spiked all the way up to about 47, which that's where we said we might meet some resistance, and we did, and we were back down to 43. But the way this thing's been moving, it might consolidate for a few hours and then go to 50. I mean, I don't know. It's crazy. So that's another lead story right now is Solana.
Yeah. But I mean, Solana's been on a tear. It's got to chill. It's got to cool. That's
what we all said in 2021, though, right? And I mean, I know it's not 2021. We're not in the peak of the bull run, but I don't know. It just has that kind of run in it where you don't think it can go up anymore, and then it's just like, boom.
Well, I'm waiting for a consolidation period, and I'm also waiting for our software to tell me, "Hey, baby, it's time to buy." That's what I'm waiting on. I want to see that play out with that. I want to see it give an indicator. Hey, that's us. Man, thank you. Appreciate that.
Look at that guy. Look at that guy in the middle.
Look at me. I've only got about 5 more years, and I'm going to look as old as Papa Powell.
He does look old, man. How old is Powell?
I don't know. Somebody Google it. So,
I was going to check a couple just altcoins out there. This was one you and I got in pretty early. I was throwing it out there on Twitter and stuff like that too. TokenFi. So we got in this pretty early on, day one.
Yeah, this is the Floki guys. This is a new tokenization token for the tokenization marketplace website that they're
now. Here's the thing. I got in on it because of the hype and the Floki community, but I also got in on it thinking if they actually see this through and this becomes a real utility play, which I want to give them some time. I want to see what happens here. I've already taken some profits. I made it public this morning where I took some profits, and now I want to see what this team does. It's going to be interesting to kind of watch this play out, but this was an interesting play that came out 4 or 5 days ago now, so it's been around for a little bit. But WAGMI's been slowly ticking up too. So shout out to WAGMI and those folks. We got a bunch of their NFTs, I know. But it's been on a nice little bounce since it bottomed there. So WAGMI. Anything else sticking out at us? Remember Tradix? The team we covered for a little while? They've been on a nice little pop there back up. Yeah. So Tradix has been coming on back up.
Good guys. Those are good guys behind that.
Yep, really cool utility. We had them on for an AMA, so I've been tracking them a little bit. DPay, we've had them on a few different times. They've come off their bottom and found some room upward as well. Back up almost to a $3 million market cap now, Devour. So, yeah, there's a few companies doing some things and riding the wave a little bit right now.
Yeah, I didn't do WAGMI with you. But I own DPay. I own the TokenFi. That was a cool one. I love that it was from Floki and that community. And if they can execute in any capacity in what they're talking about, that's going to be some good stuff. Zach, we lost your audio. Nope, you're gone.
It automatically muted me for a weird reason. I have no idea why.
You're on your mic itself?
No, on StreamYard. My mic was fine. I have no idea why I did that. It said they lost. I don't know. They had a little pop up. It said they lost access to my microphone for a minute, but it's been plugged in. But yeah, Floki itself up 76% in the last month. So shout out to them. They got back in the top 100. Then they launched this token, TokenFi, which again, on the surface looks like a real utility play. Smart too, because if they make this happen, they're going after the tokenization of real world assets. Who just said a whole bunch of stuff about that? Larry Fink from BlackRock. He believes like it's like a mega reason why he's bullish on crypto.
It will. I mean,
in
it's
this next cycle. So
I mean,
good move.
My wife's in real estate title. They talk about it all the time. You know,
The
that there will
tokenization of
that will ultimately be a thing.
Oh, that's a great use case right there.
Oh, dude, yeah. Somebody brought up My Lady earlier. It was
I've heard about him.
Yeah, I have not. See. StreamYard's acting weird. There's a lag. I just literally, it's not even really showing up. Can y'all see that? What about My Ladies from Eater on the screen?
Yeah. It came up now.
Yeah, but it's really lagging behind. It's like taking forever.
That's just the weird thing with StreamYard sometimes. It's really cool for what it is, but yeah. So yeah, My Lady's somewhere right in here, I believe. So we got Doge, Shib, obviously Pepe. I mean, Floki was just in the top 100. So like as of a couple days ago, we had 4 meme coins in the top 100. Pretty cool. Bone, of course. Baby Doge is still hanging.
Here David's asking, do either one of okay, so I just clicked it. Still hasn't shown up.
I see it on my end. So it's lagging on your end. I've got it.
I don't see it. It's weird as hell. I don't see it.
Either one of you hold Preem. I got it.
Yeah. David, yes, Zach and I both hold a lot of Preem, and we bought a lot of it. We absolutely hold Preem.
So top meme coins. Oh, look there's a few other Wall Street memes is on the list nowadays. Bonk has been going bonkers here. Holy shit.
I don't even know what Bonk is.
It was a big one. It's a Solana. Oh, that's why. It's a Solana meme coin. Makes sense. Solana going crazy. So Bonk, man. Huh.
So you have to, obviously you have to buy it on the Solana chain.
Yeah.
You have to jump to the Solana chain.
I don't know if they're on exchange. Yeah. They're on Bybit. They're on Gate. But yeah. Radium, I believe, is their like DEX. So it's on some exchanges though. Gate, Bybit. I got a Bybit account. Gate, PolyNX. So it's on some bigger exchanges too. Where's Suka on here? I know there's My Lady. I don't own it, but
My Lady.
It's $28 million market cap. It's not small.
Oh, wow.
Suka's really fallen off here lately. They're struggling the last week, down 19%. Volt still hanging in there.
15 though. I mean, I still believe in their team. I think there's something there.
I do too. And Sneck, a lot of people like this one. This one's on Cardano.
Sneck.
So. Mike the Investor, who I had him on recently, he loves him some Samo. That one's up 23% in the last 24 hours. I remember him talking about that one. Bad Idea AI. I do have some of that because of the SHIB ecosystem.
We ignore Elon. No, we don't ignore Elon. We talk about it. We've talked about Elon before.
Yeah. Dogelon Mars.
Dogelon. We've talked about him a lot.
I'll prove it. Watch this. Austin Hilton. Dogelon Mars.
I've talked about it.
Look at this. 25,000 views a year ago. Why is it so popular? I remember that video.
Yeah. Look at those old thumbs I used to do. Boy, those are old.
Is
old
Elon
thumbnails.
about to send Dogecoin price dramatically up?
Oh, look, I was on my patio. Who's that guy?
Hey, that's us right now. There's another one. 15K. Dogelon Mars looking good. Dogelon Mars price prediction. So you see, you've covered it.
It's cringy to look at your own thumbnails and stuff. As my son would say, cringy.
Cringy.
I
think I covered it. I'm almost positive I did. Yeah. Elon coin here to stay. Those are terrible thumbnails. Terrible. Let's see.
All right. I think we've run out of things to talk about.
Zach thought the reporter was a snack. Nah, I mean, I thought she was cute. She sounded cute, and then she ended up being decently cute. That's all it was.
Very academic looking.
I like a good serious woman.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there we go.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Pepe. Yeah, Pepe's on fire. It has been. It was up a little bit. Yeah. Is it kind of calmed a little bit? Pepe.
El Pepe.
El Pepe.
Man, I'm ready for a drink. It feels like Friday. What day of the week is it? It's like Tuesday, Wednesday.
It's Wednesday, dude.
Dude, I've been having this jury duty. I'm not by law. I can't go into it, but it's been stressful, man.
Yeah, you thought you were gonna have to go sit on a case.
Big deal, and like it's been stressing me out. I think it's like, but yeah, good now.
Go to the bar. Yeah, but now you can go go to the bar.
I'm ready for a nooner.
It's
not even a nooner. It's 3:30. It'll be good.
See, to me, a nooner is something else.
Some days you just got to drink in the middle of the day.
A nooner is something else in my mind.
What is it? Oh, does it have another meaning?
Yeah.
A nooner, I call it like a beer at noon.
No, that's not what a nooner as far as what I think it is. It's
probably another meaning I don't even know of.
Well, you're naive and living a
bubble. Live in one of these crypto bubbles.
Crypto bubbles. Oh.
A nooner is sex.
There you go, Travis. Travis won.
Afternoon delight. Oh, a nooner. Okay, I would use it there probably too. Actually, not even knowing. Like, honey, you kind of have a nooner.
Yeah, mind in the gutter. That's funny.
Nothing
that's what
wrong
it
with
is.
A little nooner.
If you would have said nooner, I'd be like, oh, that's sex. You're not going to the bar and having a drink.
You got to shake off the morning wood.
There you go. There's another one.
Have a nooner. Oh shit!
Wow, we've gone to new stuff here. Yeah,
Zach's too young, I guess.
Yeah,
GRT's up. I like GRT.
All right, guys, we're gonna call it. We've been here an hour and a half, so thanks for stopping by. Ooh,
it's been fun.
Something just moved down. Sol is moving down a little bit for sure. Solana's back down to 42. So yeah. So maybe this is the consolidation. If it consolidates and our software says buy again, I'm buying more. I'm buying some. So
I'm with you on that. We missed the boat a few times. We didn't eat our own dog food, as you would say, a couple times there.
That one. But here's the thing. I mean, I didn't have an alert set for Solana for most of it. I did pick some up, and but I'm definitely going to watch it. I think it has such a it was you, Cardano. You did the video talking about Cardano going from 30 cents to $25. So I think that's, to my knowledge, that's the biggest percentage gain up out of the top 20 out there. Possibility is that,
I think so. And the reason why, I mean, like Coin Bureau outlined it perfectly, and I kind of played his little clip in there. The reason why, I mean, it's sold off so much. So it's really undervalued right now. And you just look at kind of how the cycles work. You know, he looked at Bitcoin, and then Ethereum cycle was his last cycle. And then you're looking at these next ones, you know, it should be the Cardano Solana kind of cycle here, I think, next. So, it'll be interesting.
So I had a guy, buddy of mine, I ran into him yesterday, and he was asking me about the market. And I said, so we were talking about Bitcoin, right? So everybody's focused on Bitcoin, which they should be. I'm not minimizing that at all. But Bitcoin going to say 130,000, right? So obviously that's going to be great for crypto. But let's just say for easy math, 30,000 to 130, that's what, 4 plus X. So that's a 4X from here. So if you put 1,000 in, you're going to 4X your money. Ethereum going from, say, 2,000. You and I've heard this number. 14,000 is the number that they're targeting for Ethereum. That as Bitcoin's hitting 130, Ethereum is going to be 14 to 15,000. Obviously, that's don't do math in public, a 7X, give or take.
Yep.
Fantastic returns. Cardano to go from 25 cents to $25, or cut that in half.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's just infinitely more X's. Let's call it that way. You know?
For sure. I mean, and there are a ton of opportunities out there like that. And it's like the argument he was making, which I love, it was like, as Bitcoin, Ethereum, they go up, obviously over time, you're going to have diminishing returns, right?
Yep.
But there's also less risk. So like having
Yep.
that backbone of Bitcoin and Ethereum, that's why we always talk about it. I feel like everybody in crypto should have Bitcoin.
Absolutely.
I mean, you can do it too. I mean, and people won't. I mean, a lot of people just think like I can't get a full one, but that's the beauty of it. You don't have to get a full one.
Right.
Like you can still get, I almost look at Bitcoin as a bank account that actually goes up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like in traditional finance, you can go get a money market account right now at 5.5% interest. It's not a CD. I mean, you can pull your money out. But that's what the banks are paying, which in very conservative on the street, 5.5 that's not a bad return. Again, relatively, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas you look at, I mean, Ethereum and Bitcoin 4x, 7x. And I think, but I don't see. It's funny. I don't see any risk to owning Cardano, Polygon, XRP.
Very little. Yeah, I'm with you there.
There is no risk. I think. I mean, there's always risk, right? But I mean, relatively, it's like a 98, 99% no risk scenario to own any of the top assets.
Isn't that so funny though? Like we're talking about altcoins and we're saying like these are like, it's just so different. Like our mindset versus, let's just take like one of your buddies, right, who's not in crypto and his opinion on Bitcoin, the largest one. People have it in their head like, that's crazy. Like you invest in what? Like,
yeah.
I had the classic conversation not too long ago with a few people. What is Bitcoin? You don't even know what it is. Where is it? It's invisible. Like, it's like the classic, like, how can I own something I don't even hold? It's like, welcome to the digital world, my friend. Like this is, I mean, where's your money that you think you have on your app? You don't have that. Go try to get it at the bank.
Yeah. Are you taking,
shit. Like,
yeah. I mean, you go buy Apple stock. Are you physically going to get a piece of paper that says you own that stock? No.
When you buy gold in the stock market.
Yeah. I mean, it's,
you don't, sure, you can go get physical gold, but a lot of people get exposure to gold like digitally, right? Am I wrong in that?
No, I mean, hold on. Somebody's texting me.
Oh, Gabby, that's cool. Are you going to the next Bitcoin meetup at Town Hall? Yeah, so I was at, there was a Bitcoin meetup in Cleveland. Gabby, were you there? That's cool. I might. When is it? When is the next one?
Yeah. On another note,
yeah,
walk into a bank and ask them to give you cash for anything north of 10 grand. You will freak everybody the hell out.
Yeah. You know what'll really freak them out? Ask for euros.
Oh,
because I just did that.
Oh, you were going overseas. That's right. Yeah.
And I didn't even ask for that much, but it was like, they were like questioning me. I'm like, dude, I just don't want to pay the freaking ATM fees. I just want to get it through my bank now. I don't want to have to worry about going over there and seeing what the exchange rate is and making sure I'm not getting handled and screwed over by this, person on the corner or whatever. That's all, you know?
Yeah.
Shit, you use the ATM over there. It's like crazy, dude. The fees, they just drill you.
Yeah.
Crazy. I had to do it once. But yeah.
I mean, it's funny. I think here's what I say. When the Bitcoin ETF goes live, which we all know how that's going to play, crypto will all of a sudden be credible.
Right.
Because the mainstream media will talk about it. Your little local news station will be like, hey, Bitcoin is the real, it's like blah, blah, blah. And I, especially because I run around with guys that are 40, 50s plus who don't own crypto, will be going, oh, this Bitcoin thing, that's real now, huh? Yeah. I'm like, it's been real for a while. Told you,
Yeah.
So anyway.
Oh, it's November 10th at the next, dude, it's really cool what they're doing in Cleveland. They, they do these meetups, like these Bitcoin meetups, and it's a really cool spot. Like in a cool spot, a cool area in Cleveland. It was really neat. I went to the one 2 months ago, I think, or 3 months. Yeah, it might have been the last month. But all these cities now, they're starting to pop up, so that's good, you know. And they're just setting up shop at like a really popular bar in a city on a Friday night, and then people just they stumble over there and they want to learn a little bit about Bitcoin. They can just stumble over and with a beer and, hey, what's going on? What I've heard about this thing. What's happening? Cool. And it's just like you're at a bar hanging out. It was really cool, actually.
Yeah. Somebody's asking me about my background. That's my new studio. Aren't I really cool now?
It looks awesome.
My different colors and and all that. Blah blah blah.
I was gonna tell you. So I got you know how this stuff's like really like right on top of me. I got this room. This room goes like a long way. So I think I might set up my desk way over there and then shoot this way. You'll be able to, add that more depth, because I like how yours looks. I mean, you got that depth, like you can tell, like it's,
that
a little deeper behind you.
So that behind me is probably the wall itself is 4 feet behind me.
Okay,
give or take.
I like the depth. I like how that looks.
There is some depth to that, yeah. So I noticed you got how many lights do you have going there? Do you have 2 or 1?
Got two green lights going, and I know this rack is it's temporary. I'm gonna do some other thing, probably get like a shelf, but I kind of like that book. Maybe put some books up like that.
Get you some Bull and Bear, like I got my little Bull and Bear.
Bull and Bear, yeah.
Put it on green. Oh, sorry, Boca's telling me put this on green. All right, there you go, Boca. It's on green.
There we go. Now we're
cooking with fire. Yeah. Yeah,
but,
you gotta have LED lights. LED lights, man. That's when you're not a real YouTuber unless you have LED lights.
Right. And I do like how the YouTubers have like the dark, like backlighting, and then so I think that's all depth, right? It's like I could do that in this room because I got about, I don't know, probably a 15-yard runway here, so I can add like these lights way back here.
Yeah.
And have my shot way up there, so it could be like dark in the front of the shot, but then you see it like light in the back, like. Kind of like that.
Gonna be all funky and cool, man.
I'm gonna try to. What I want to do in this room eventually is have that going on, but also have a standing desk with a green screen where I can kind of like, do some videos where I'm standing up and stuff.
Yeah. My last desk was a standing desk, and I never one time raised it.
Really?
Never raised it.
Have you seen those ones where you can literally walk on the treadmill now? It's a desk on the treadmill. That's actually pretty sweet.
Yeah, but will you use that? Will you really use that? Look at this covet. It says, man, there's a lag. Can you see that? Austin can set his.
Yeah, no, I can see it already. Yeah, I don't know why it's lagging.
It's still showing. Angela's on mine. Yeah, don't use a black light.
Yeah, you might find some things you don't want to find.
It's not. That's a.
You ever do that at a hotel?
Oof.
Use a backlight.
No.
You probably don't want to do that. You might find some stuff.
I take that comforter off, didn't throw it on the floor, man.
Yeah. I'm with you on that.
No. Yeah.
You got to change my wall. It says. He says I got to change my lighting. It makes your video look like they are low quality. Why? I'm trying to figure it out, man. I got all kind of different settings I can.
It's because you're really close to it. So if you get the longer view and things like that, it'll help.
Yeah, I think that's really it.
The one on the one over your right shoulder, is that actually on the?
It's on the ground. This one on the ground.
Yeah. They're both on the ground.
Yeah. They're. I could turn the brightness down on them.
You need to turn one of the brightness down a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah. D's, any more news on the Bitcoin
How's
ETF? Didn't really. No, there's nothing new on the Bitcoin ETF. We're still waiting, guys.
How's that?
The one that's under the shelf looks way brighter. Does that make sense? That one right there. Now, see, that one's not on the ground. That light needs to be down lower.
That one's up. Yeah.
It needs to be down lower. That's why it's too high. It needs to go down lower.
We can do that.
We can do that. La, 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 la. See, that's better.
How do you like me now?
That's better.
How you like me now?
How do you like me now? All right, I got to go here. I got to go pick up my kid from school, you know.
All right, brother. It was fun.
It's do that. Yeah, you need to. So if you're new, you're saying you could flip your desk and go the opposite way, but if you have a longer room, is what you're saying.
Yeah, like I mean, I could just show you actually here. Hold on.
Basically, guys, Zach's in a broom closet.
No, it's actually pretty. I mean, it's not deep from where I'm at, right? But
yeah. Oh yeah.
It goes way over there. I mean, all those shelves I can take out of here. It goes decently deep that way. Like it's pretty legit like that way. And I'm like, wait a minute, I think I've got this set up the wrong way. This desk would fit right over there. There's outlets. So I think I'm gonna do it on the weekend and just kind of you probably can't even hear me. My mic's over here. So yeah, just do it on the weekend. It'll be like a little weekend project and mess with it and set it all up. And because then I just ordered a green screen too. So I can have a green screen that I could just, roll out if I want to use that at some point, or have it like set up way over here. I can have like 2 studios.
Yeah.
I can have one over there, one over here. Even.
One over there, one over here. One over there, one over here.
One over here, one over there.
All right. I got to go pick up the kid. So guys, thanks for stopping by, hanging out with us. A lot of people bought the indicator today, which is cool. So if you're interested, check it out. Links in the description below. Zach, you got any final words there, big guy?
No, man. That's good. It was fun.
A mini, what is this, Zach? You need a mini Risen PC. We're Mac guys. He uses a Mac, so do I. So mini Risen. That's kind of cool.
I don't know what that is. But when you're like heavy into the PC game, man, those people are crazy. Like they're like building it themselves and shit. I ain't got that kind of skill.
Yeah. Yep. All right. We'll see you.
Decently deep. That's it, Jerry.
It's been one of our better streams.
Decently deep.
Decently deep. All right. We're ending. And come on. I can't tell if I'm ending this there. Okay. Man.